Hello, it is Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Wednesday puzzle, so perhaps a little bit of a step up in difficulty from Monday and Tuesday. It's still in the themed bits of the week, so as always, we'll have to find out what that is today. And this edition of the Daily Solve is brought to you by Quotidiophile, Cass Wilkinson Saldana, and as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So, thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. And the Patreon campaign is how you can directly support this channel and help me make this series part of my sustainable daily work. So thank you to everybody who has done that at any level for any amount of time. I do very much appreciate it. And the details are all at patreon.com/dailysolve. And at any level, you get, of course, access to all of the extra bonus solves, such as the most recent New York Times acrostic puzzle that I put up the other day, as well as the extra channel in the Daily Solve Discord chat server. So, I suppose that's that. And let's get on to today's puzzle. This is, of course, a Wednesday crossword. It was constructed by Dylan Schiff, who is a two-time New York Times crossword constructor. So this is his second puzzle for this publication. And it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's get going. No time to waste. The girl next door, for one. That's a trope. I wonder... I mean, obviously my first thought was neighbor, but the girl next door is sort of a trope. It's sort of a character type in I don't know, I guess a sitcom would be maybe I don't know. Anyway, it's a trope. And trope meaning an archetype concept used in fiction frequently enough that it can be identified as a recurring sort of theme. Anyway, post office inquiry. I said all of that, and I don't even know if this is correct. I don't know why I went so deep into trope there, but this may or may not be the answer. Edit in a way as a computer file. Possibility. Could be option. Okay, good. Jury member could be a peer, a jury of one's peers. And Sir Walter Raleigh's goal. And then here we have act like some Poles. And put in the pot. So put is one of those words that can often be misleading in a crossword because it, I think generally speaking, our first instinct when we read it will be that it is a present tense verb, but I think in this case it is in the past, and it refers to something that was put in the pot or anteed in a game of poker, for instance. You could put some money in the pot. You could ante it. I don't know if you'd say it that way precisely, but I think that's what the answer is here. Edit in a way as a computer file. What is this? I'm sure it'll be quite obvious when I see it, but I just don't right now. What about this three-letter answer? My Chemical Romance genre. I don't know this band at all, but presumably it's an emo band, I would say, based on this fill. I've certainly heard of the band. Post office inquiry. Why do I not see what this is? That's so strange. And here we have hired security guard. A Pinkerton? That doesn't fit, does it? No, it does not. Oh, rent-a-cop, possibly. There we go. So a sort of colloquial term for that. And post office inquiry. That is the strangest thing that I can't see this. Oh, but edit in a way as a computer file could be to rename the file. That makes sense. That is a way to... I see why that is that way. So edit in a way. You are technically editing the computer file, but you're sort of editing the meta information around it rather than the contents of the file. So I see why they've put in a way there. Act like some poles. Oh, I see. Repel, as in magnetic poles, negative and positive or north and south will repel one another. Post office inquiry. Why do I still not see what this is? Post office inquiry. I'm very sorry. This is the strangest thing. Trader? I just don't see what this is. This will absolutely be one of those things that is just deeply, deeply obvious once I actually see it. What was this? Sir Walter Raleigh's goal. Oh, El Dorado. There we go. This looks like Cairo. Tracer. Post office inquiry. Tracer. Oh, okay. That's not as obvious as I thought it would be. I suppose that's tracking information, perhaps. I don't know that I've heard it referred to as a tracer necessarily. You're tracing your parcel, I suppose. I mean, it makes sense, but not the language I've typically used. Anyway, this looks like a theme clue. What is this? 3 world capitals, 5, 4, 10. So we have a sort of cryptic crossword style letter count indicator for us here. So Cairo is 5, obviously. Something will be 4. Lima, Peru. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there could be many. Let's check the crosses. Colorful parrot, not Lima, could be a macaw, I suspect. And groovy could be rad, so we've got 2 slang terms there. Manage could be make, do. And polite term of address could be ma'am. French term of endearment. Ma chérie? Or could it also be mon chéri without the E at the end, actually? Or no, mon cher. Or, well, it could be either of those, I think. It could be one of those 2 things. I might be mangling the masculine version of that, but I think it actually could be either masculine or feminine. And annoyingly, I don't think there are any shared letters there, strangely enough. Well, there are shared letters, but not that share the same position, I should say. One joining in the chorus. An alto. I suspect it is an alto out of soprano, alto, tenor, bass, which are not the only vocal ranges, but they're the 4 classical ranges in the, I don't know, in the most common form of choral writing. And anyway, that does disambiguate the masculine feminine here things. So is it mon chéri or mon cher? Mon chéri? I think it's chéri. But without an E in the end. Maybe I'll leave that blank to reflect my my slight ignorance, and we'll confirm or deny it later. What is this? Eager could be keen. We're keen to finish this crossword. Longtime Jeopardy host Trebek could be Alex Trebek. And wiped out could be ate it. Oh, this looks like Mexico. Oh, very clever. I see. Cairo and then Rome. Sorry, I didn't think about this very hard. If I had looked at this answer a little bit longer or more carefully, I would have noticed that the clue calls for 19 total letters, and there are not, in fact, 19 letters in this answer. There are 15, I suppose. So we have, is that right? Yes, 15. Is this grid larger than a typical grid? Yes, it is. It's slightly elongated. It's 16 wide by 15 tall, whereas ordinarily it would be 15 by 15 square. And it's so hard to see that. I mean, it does look slightly elongated, but I would have just as easily believed that was a trick of my eyes or my brain or something. Yeah, that's so interesting. So that must be to facilitate this precise theme. Anyway, so we have Cairo, Rome, and boy, I'm not. Why do I not? This should be very obvious what the final capital is. Sorry about that. Let's keep going. Something a coxswain lacks would be an oar, because the coxswain is directing the rowing rather than rowing him or herself. Fancy that. And sounds of hesitation could be ers, the plural. Large expanses. Deserts? No, that doesn't fit. Start of a Caesarean boast. Could be veni, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. And what is this? Claire Dunphy of Modern Family, for one. Modern Family is a TV program. So is she a TV mom? It seems pretty plausible. Tracts. Vast tracts of land. Cookie with a green cream center. Green cream center. I'm not sure about that. Energy healing discipline. Energy healing discipline. I don't know this either. What about this? Record of the year. Could be an annal. So the first way one might read this would be, I don't know, a Grammy Award or music award for the best album of the year. But I think it's a bit of misdirection, and it's referring to literally recording the information about a year. So the annals of history, for instance. Cool amount of cash, a cool mill, a cool million. And, well, alrighty. Oh, okay then? Maybe? Oh, here we have 3 U.S. states. So we're going to get that other, we're going to get this, that little word, the little linguistic trick again. That'll be fun. Oh, Mexico City. Very clever. Ah, yes. I should have thought, when I thought Mexico, I was thinking, is this meaning something else? And now we're transitioning to states rather than, to sovereign states, that is, rather than capital cities. I wasn't really sure what it meant, but of course the capital of Mexico is Mexico City, and I just didn't think to extend this because Mexico was clearly in there. I should have thought, well, what's the capital of Mexico? But I didn't. My brain didn't go even one step ahead. So we have Cairo, Rome, and Mexico City all. And actually, look at this. It's actually very clean. I wonder if they'll all follow this pattern because, in fact, Rome is entirely contained within the other 2 answers. So without Rome, this would simply be Cairo, Mexico City. And there isn't a single wasted letter, if you see what I mean. Very, very, very clean bit of construction there. So cookie with a green cream center. Oh, mint. Is it a mint thin? The Girl Scout cookies? And then energy healing discipline is Reiki. Reiki. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. That's actually sort of unusual, honestly, especially on a Wednesday, for me to be introduced to a completely new word that I've never heard of before. Certainly not new for me to get new information or knowledge that I didn't know. But it's unusual to be completely unfamiliar with a word entirely. So that's interesting. I'll have to find out what that is. Like some meds. This looks sort of odd. It does. Oops. Maybe this isn't mint thin. Oh no, that's not. They're not called mint thins. They're called thin mints. Sorry. So what is this? Mint something else. Well, maybe this is indeed okay then. And mint is going to be something else. So like some meds. Pie follower. Is it row? Mint. Oh, is it a mint Oreo? Wow. Look at that. Another way to get Oreo into the grid without it straightforwardly being in the grid in its own right. Like some meds. Oh, OTC. And meds in this case, as an abbreviation of medicine, a contraction of medicine, where it's indicating that the answer will also be some kind of abbreviation or contraction. And so OTC for over-the-counter medication. Pro's counterpart could be con, pro and con of an argument, for instance. And if something is visible, it is seen. To display one's humanity in a way. I don't know, actually. And Ada Lovelace was a computer programming pioneer, so we can put that in. Considered a pioneer of computer programming for her work with Charles Babbage on his difference engine, is that what it was called, or the analytical engine? Incredibly interesting figure. Follow closely could be to tail, and this looks like Ohio, doesn't it? 3 U.S. states, Ohio and Iowa. And if this follows it does follow the same pattern as this Cairo, Mexico City / Cairo, Rome, Mexico City, in that we can jump straight from Ohio to Washington, another U.S. state, but also the overlap contains Iowa. This is very, very clever. It's sort of a linguistic discovery, you might say. I mean, yeah, it sort of bridges the gap between a construction and a discovery in that it's obviously a construction and that the constructor, Dylan Schiff, had to think of this and then do it, and there was some degree of choice about how it would work. But of course, in the case of U.S. states, there are a finite number of them. So it would, I suppose, be possible for the U.S. states in an alternate reality to have been spelled such that this was not possible. So I guess that's what I mean in the sense that in some ways it is a discovery in that it just so happens that there are 3 U.S. states that can be arranged this way. There didn't necessarily have to be. Annoyance could be a pest. John or Jean, who wrote Wide Sargasso Sea. Feels though I should know this, but I don't. I just don't. I recognize the name, but display one's humanity. Err, to make a mistake. To err is human, as they say. Racing shape is an oval, commonly. Metaphor for many college dorm room is a sty, a pig sty, they often say. Dug out material. I'm not sure I see what that means. Obvs. Don't like pronouncing this. Obvs. That's very difficult. Obvs. No duh, I suppose. This is implying a slangy way to say, yes, that's very clear. Obviously, no duh. Degree recipient could be a graduate from a university, say. Oh, what was this? Did we see this one? Oh, dance element is a step. Okay, I guess I didn't see that earlier. So dugout material could be or, right, okay. So the reason I adjusted my pronunciation, I said dugout material as in the word dugout, but the way that this is hyphenated makes it look like material that is dug out, as opposed to material used in a dugout, which would be a single word, not hyphenated. So in this case, it is dug out material that has been dug out, and it is ore, which can be dug out of the ground. Gun as an engine could be to rev an engine, an internal combustion engine anyway. Club workers informally. We'll end with an S, right? Club workers. And hung loosely draped, perhaps. So what was this club workers? Oh, DJs. They could work in a club and play music in a club. And what's this J? Jam session, perhaps. And malt shop selections. Malt shop selections. So, It's where you'd get a milkshake or something like that. Oh, soda something? Soda pops, I guess? Okay, that's probably the case. United Nations, e.g. is an organization, I suppose. That's pretty straightforward. Seniors test could be the GRE, graduate school admissions exam, and then part of a highway cloverleaf, an overpass. So cloverleaf pattern being often when you have two highways crossing one another, and the cloverleaf pattern is formed by the shape of the on-ramps and off-ramps that are connecting the two different directions. Dig right in. Have at it, I suppose. Per the preceding discussion. As stated, maybe? Let's check the crosses on that to be sure. Bummer could be rats, and cow's mouthful could be cud. A cow could chew its cud. Stable electron configurations, sorry. I'm actually not sure about that. What about this, though? 3 countries. This looks like Panama, doesn't it? And 4 and 9. So I'm guessing this will once again... Yes, indeed. It does maintain the clean construction pattern here, by which the third country will start immediately after Panama, and the second country will exist only as overlap. Actually, sorry, it just occurred to me. Are they all equally positioned? So here Rome is actually equally overlapping Cairo and Mexico City. And yes, indeed, here Iowa is equally overlapping Ohio and Washington, as opposed to, for instance, only one letter from Ohio and three letters from Washington, for instance. So this is extremely clearly constructed. So if that holds, then the four-letter country should start with M-A. But of course I can't see it. That's ridiculous. Embarrassing. Okay, let's go on. Replay feature could be slow-mo. Oh, Mali, sorry. Slow-mo. So Panama, Mali, and Lithuania. There we go. All right. Very nice. So only 3 today. It's a tall order. This is an incredibly clean set of constructions. And so fair enough that Dylan Schiff was only able to arrive at 3 of these. And they're all geographical as well. It's worth bearing that in mind. And actually, even further to that, they sort of zoom out in scale. So here we have cities, and specifically world capitals. So we have world capitals, and then which again are city level. And then we're zooming out to U.S. state level, which is sort of in between local and national. And then we're zooming out further to countries. So very clever. Very, very clever. And neutral lipstick shade could be nude. U in Uruguay could be usted in the formal U as opposed to the informal tu. Line to the house could be an aside. And believe unquestioningly could be eat up. And eau de parfum would be, scented water, perfume in French. Speaker's quality. Speaker's quality could be tone. A speaker could have good tone. An audio speaker, that is. Stable electron configurations. Oh, right. What was this? Octets, maybe? I'm not sure. Big name in little gumdrops. Dots, I guess. And monogram part could be an initial. You could have clothing that's monogrammed with your initials, I suppose. Put forth could be emit. And so stable electron configurations are indeed octets. Interesting. I don't remember that from I don't know, physics, I guess. Admitting to as a mistake could be owning that mistake. And ballet technique, point? Not sure. Sorrow could be woe. And Neptune, for one, is a sea god. Neptune, god of the sea, perhaps. Going from 0 to 100, say. Acing, as in a test? How does the 0 come into play there? Brimming with anticipation. And role once played on TV by Jay Silverheels. I'm guessing Tonto from The Lone Ranger. I've actually never seen any of the different incarnations of The Lone Ranger, but just based on the crosses, that's what I'm guessing this is. And spurred on could be egged on. So this does look like point, actually. Ballet technique on point. And if one is brimming with anticipation, one is agog. I see. And going from 0 to 100, as we all are, except for the few of us in excess of that age, are aging. And that's the crossword. And there we have it. So a relatively low count of theme answers in this grid, but I think quite an impressive set. It's an understated, but I think quite well constructed set of theme clues. Cairo, Rome, Mexico City, Ohio, Iowa, Washington, and Panama, Mali, Lithuania. And they all follow this very strict construction pattern that I've already spoken about, so I don't need to redo it. But yes, no wasted letters in these answers, and a slightly elongated grid. So we put a few more cells in the grid than we ordinarily would have on a Wednesday with a 16 by 15 grid. And I think actually a relatively straightforward solve outside of that. Certainly some things I needed some crosses to solve, like Reiki which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. Was there anything else? I think it actually was a relatively straightforward solve for me beyond that. But let me know how you fared. I mean, this would be, I would say, relative to the Monday and Tuesday. This was easier for a Wednesday than this week's Monday and Tuesdays were for their days, if that makes sense, if that kind of relative comparison has any meaning whatsoever. In any case, there it was. Liked those 3 theme answers. And now we can discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. I think there were only a couple of them, so this should be relatively quick. So first off, Clockwork Gadget corrects my faulty memory. The comment was David Simon, not David Chase, and that's referring to my misattribution of David Chase to the creation of Treme. I think David Chase was The Sopranos, that sort of HBO TV creator David, whereas the HBO TV creator David I meant to call to mind was David Simon of The Wire, so apologies. And Clockwork Gadget, actually, on that note, does follow up to acknowledge an honest mistake given HBO's abundance of Davids. So perhaps there are even more than these 2. I don't know. But thank you for the correction. And Bradley comments regarding Dear Evan Hansen and the actor Ben Platt, who appeared in yesterday's crossword. Ben Platt was somewhat controversially the lead in both the stage and screen version of Dear Evan Hansen. At age 23, Platt became the youngest solo recipient of a Tony for Best Lead Actor in a Musical for his performance as the title high schooler Evan Hansen. He reprised the role in the 2021 film adaptation, which was panned by critics, many of whom found the casting of the then 27-year-old Platt as a 17-year-old high school student as far-fetched. So there we have it. And that's it. I think those were the only corrections or extra bits of context I had from yesterday's puzzle. Apologies if I missed any, but that's what I found. And thank you for joining me today. This was a relatively short video, I suppose, for a Wednesday, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this. And if you think you know someone else who might enjoy it, who might then subscribe, why not pass it along to them, either directly or through your online community of choice as a broader recommendation. And I suppose that's it. I don't know if there's anything else to say. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the Thursday puzzle. And the Thursday puzzle is when the theme maybe gets a little bit trickier. The first tricky puzzle of the week. And we've had, I think, some pretty impressive and fun theming going on over the past week or so. It's been, I think, it's been pretty, generally pretty enjoyable on that front, I think. So I'm looking forward to what's in store for us tomorrow and Thursday. I hope you are as well. I hope you will be here for that. I certainly will be, of course. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.